Well, see, I love the flat. It's hard to explain to it. Now, as I said, I came from I was born and reared in the house, but the flats were gorgeous. You had running hot water. You had all the comforts, you know, and it was all in the one bill. You were paying it there. Where in the house, you have 4 or 5 different bills.
There was plenty to do as a kid, like as such. Like there was no youth club, but there was still games that we played like that. Everyone played, I think. Like every block had a playground, and then there's the pram sheds. But then the pram sheds were knocked down after a while. But we used to all play like there was 5 sides, and we'd always play football together. The summer projects then, and we'd have days out to the sea and days out to the beaches and the whole lot. But there's always like something to do. Like all the women down in the flats, we all down in the flats in the summer. Knitting jumpers or job logs over in that block or someone over in the other block. And all of us sit around in the summer. And they're the memories that I have as a kid in the flats. And they're always my fond memories, like all the mothers sitting in the playground watching the kids and to be doing that knitting or whatever. And they were only young at the time as well. Like they're only like the women that's around here now.
They used to have Christmas parties for the kids and Santa would knock on the door every Christmas. Like they were a good, solid, strong community. Like.
People taking pride on their landings and on their blocks. Like everyone would have to look at the tenants association was around as well at the time, and everyone had to like looked after their block. Like one night someone would wash the stairs, next night next door would do their share. That's the way it went. Then the people that came in the mid 80s, late 80s, didn't care. You know what I mean? They were only coming here for a year at most and gone. There was an awful lot of fighting used to go on in the flats then. There was always conflict then, you know what I mean? So it was always like arguing all the time, so the police was around a lot then as well. The big changes was when swings ended up going out of it, like then the glue started and the joyriding started, so that was everyone going to prison. We were all young ones going in and out of prison.
But it started going down, the corporation was no help to anybody. And what you went in and said to them, they never done that. And now it's costing them, what, a few million. Where if they're actually doing something at the beginning of it, you're having a lovely community here. There's loads of things you could have done, you know. But there was no willpower, or you were hiding with the money. We know where all the money went now. Anyway, Charlie and his cronies. There was never a penny.
There was drugs in the area, but it didn't get back till about, I think, 3 to 4 years ago. Because Fatima had the same problem, Dolphin House had the same problem, Brickfield Park where my mother lives. It was going on over there before it came here. It's just that the police has moved them out of one area and they're shoving them into another area. And we got Fatima Mansions, we got Dolphin's Barn, we got Drimnagh, we got Ballyfermot, we got Clondalkin, and we got the city. And we got people even from Bray, Dunleary, coming in because they were getting proud of their own areas. And at that time, well, the police weren't as up as much as they are now. And we just got them all.
It was only when I started to see gangs coming from different areas and that I said, God, I said, what's going on over there? And someone says, they're in for the fix. I said, the what? She says, you know, they're going in to see can they get a bag. I said, a bag of what? Really, I didn't know nothing about drugs. And she says, you know, she says, they get a bag, a little bag with drugs in it, and I still didn't know what she was talking about. Then I found out my own young fella, he was dabbing in it.
Little fellas got into drugs, I think because there was nothing else to do for them, and they seen other people like going on to drugs, so that's how they ended up going on drugs. And they used to always go up onto the landing and be looking everywhere for them. They say, "Oh, we're up there smoking hash," but you'd know like that they'd be after like up there smoking gear. Like we didn't know then actually what it was, but we knew that it was like gear that fucking has them all funny and leaving mad.
Out of the group, any of the group that I remember hanging around with as a kid, that I grew up with, even the farthest ones that moved out, I bump into them today. And the only place you bump into them is in clinics. That's where you see them all, is in the clinics.
First time I ever scored in Michael's estate was a drought on. No gear anywhere. Top of Dolphin's Barn, there was about 30 people standing on the corner of Dolphin's Barn. There was taxis flying, stopping, you know what I mean? everyone flying around, there was nothing anywhere. And these four blokes stood and they come over to me and is there out? And I said no. He says, we're going to Michael to say, do you want to jump in the car with us? We see is there out up there? And I said, yeah. First window we knocked on and we got a bag, 2 bags each.
Opiates started coming around then, around here in the 90s. I think, anyway, I remember hearing about it, like, how bad it was getting. And I wasn't on drugs this time. And I remember them bumping into me mates and me brothers and they were saying, I'm going raving tonight. I wasn't into raving, I used to just go drinking. And I used to drink in pubs. And they'd be all going raving, then they'd end up having a smoke when they come down after they. So I was started to float back around the area to go drinking. And then I'd bump into them pubs. And I'd go leave the pubs and go and have a smoke with them then. That's how it snowballed for me. The heroin started at 94, 93.
The wife and myself now, as I say, I was nearly 19 years and you couldn't go outside the hall or if she was going out, I was staying in because you were breaking into everybody's flat and it wasn't to get that you'd have anything good, but you'd fucking wreck everything. Then she got afraid. She said she wouldn't go down now. After it got dark, she wouldn't go down the shop.
There was a drug situation there. People were afraid to let their kids down in case they'd pick up a syringe or, you know, there was things like that. And you were sliding down the stairs on the vomit. You were picking up, you'd pick up 10 or 20 syringes in a weekend. Well, you know, and you were going to cleaning up toilet. They were going to toilet outside your door. And one night I put a fella off the landing. And I put him out my landing and he gave me a load of abuse, which I never got abuse after. But this particular fella, one night I went out and he gave me a load of abuse. And when he was finished with his syringe, he put it in my letterbox.
I was doing Batman, I was. I went in the ambulance. Then he cut his with a drug needle. And then he had to go to hospital. I didn't go. And sometimes even junkies sleep on the grass and all. Yeah, and they slept on my landing once. And some of them slept on my... And Ken, the copper, had to come up. And he asked my ma for a drink. And my landing, I live on the big landing. And I know when we went out to the school, out at the corner, there was a junkie lying down in a sleeping bag.
There was a lot going on there about 12 months ago, like people getting stabbed and booted and bet up for their gear and bet up for their money and whatever, under the block here. Sure, I called the ambulance men must know my phone number and the fire brigade because they used to all roar up to me. Will you ring an ambulance or will you ring a fire brigade? Or I think the ambulance men, I think they knew my voice from ringing so many ambulances.
Get them, and get your brothers, and get your gang, and get them fucking there! You fucking big meltjer! You lay a hand on her and you fucking answer, and your brothers will answer, and your fucking gang will answer! Don't get shit around here like you start out boots and all! You fucking cunt, you meltjer! You fucking big meltjer! Get your brothers! I'm here now! I'm fucking here now! You get your poxy brothers! And get your fucking gang here now! You fucking meltjer! Get them, you stupid meltjer! Get them!
I guarantee she won't tell us.
I guarantee you won't. If you lay a hand on her, and I get your rats in your family, I'll fucking bury you! Get them on your phone now, you fucking big meltjer!
You're a fucking rat on the north side. That's how you can't sell gear over there.
You shut your mouth.
That's how you can't sell fucking gear over there.
There's your mouth. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? Get them! You fucking coward! Get them! I'm here on my own. Bring them! I'm on my own. I'm on my fucking own. Now you get them! They're only melts. They're rats. Get them! Get them, you coward! Where are they? Where's the cowards? Where's the fucking cowards, you fucking rat? Get them! Get them! Get your rats down here now, you fucking meltjer! You rot.
They just have your nerves gone, like, you don't know whether you're going to come in and find them dead, like, after ODing, or, like, whether the last few pounds you have, whether they're going to take it or not, like, it's just mad, like, when you live with them.
The drugs, because I have one on them, and it's breaking my heart. At the moment, his life is not worth living, if you want to put it that way. It's hard looking at them and knowing that you can't do anything. So, like, you're on edge all the time, you know.
But there was nights I'd stand by the window, wondering where he was. And maybe he wouldn't come in, and you see the police car coming up. Now, the police wasn't all that much up in the estate at the time. And you wonder, is the police going to come around to your block and come up the stairs? And as I tell you, I wouldn't sleep at night. I went through hell with him. And it does affect the family, because all the attention goes on that one. And there's many a night I'd be sitting there, he'd come in and he'd yell his head, and he might as well be hitting the wall as hitting, because he wouldn't feel it. And he did see people on drugs, and he seen the way they looked when they needed a fix. And I didn't really think he'd ever go on drugs, because he seen what happened.
The raves in them days was you didn't give a fuck what you looked like. You'd take off your top, you'd be dancing in out your head, and then, but you just couldn't come down off it. So then there was the little, as they say, the man in the black coat with the heroin, and that's how everyone got into it. That's my age.
I cried a lot, he said. Never cried outside. Inside I did. I sobbed. It's like a mental madness is in your head, and you can't get rid of it. Now, the feeling you get is the stomach, the butterflies, and just thousands. And then as it goes along, you can feel the fear moving up into the heart. And it's like as if someone took your heart out and cut it into little pieces, because you've no feeling there. You're raw. And then it goes to the throat, and you get the lump in the throat. And for that fear and the butterflies that goes through your body, it's unhuman. I wouldn't wish it on me worst enemy.
You just care about yourself when you're on drugs. You care about nobody else. And that's just the truth of it. If any junkie tells you any different, they're lying.
But that went on for a while, and then he'd say, I'm all right, man. But I always knew. Then the police start raiding me, but they never found drugs in my home. Never, because I wouldn't have them.
I was with a fella that was on drugs, and he went on in the last 3 years. But he just got heavy, and then he couldn't handle it, like he was doing all mad things. But he ended up getting into do a bit of stuff, like just to feed his habit. And just one day he ended up getting caught, so that took him away from all that. And he ended up getting locked up to pay his time.
And I was left bang on my own with a big mad heroin habit. No way to feed it. No way to, there was 2 blokes downstairs was injecting. So I started knocking into them with my little £10 deal, because the injection lasts a whole year longer. It gives you a better stone.
But it was in October it was, no, I never forget it. I didn't know he was spaced out in his bedroom, because I was at being out that morning, I was only to come back into the shop. And he brought him out, and he was spaced, and how I didn't get him by the throat in front of the police, I don't know, to finish him off. And he told me he wouldn't live to see Christmas. And I says, if I knew that was true, thank God, I hope it happens. Now that's how bad it was.
I didn't know what else to do. I knew how to shoplift, so I started shoplifting. But then I got, from injecting, I got too scrawny, I got too junky looking. But then I done what basically every other girl does. I started off working in an escort agency, and then they started to notice that I was coming in and I was like that, and then so I was kicked out of there. So I was so used with them by that stage. I was shit myself, walked up on Wagon Street one night, I didn't know what to expect. whether I was going to get killed or what, you know.
No, my fella had two brothers and they died of it. One was on it the same time as him, and he was a younger fella, he was only young. And then the second fella, he wasn't on it, but must have went on it all of it, well, on the first time or the second time, and he died.
There were some fellas, they'd go out at night and they'd be popping cars and taking what they could out of cars, or doing gaffes, you know, robbing houses.
But hell is no name for what I went through, night after night. It was very sad to look at other children going through, or other mothers going through what I went through. Even now, for addicts, my heart goes out to them, but one time I could kill them.
And the young boys, like, that has died in the air, I mean, they were never out of my flat. And, like, looking at them, and now they're gone, you know what I mean? That is, St. Michael's Day took so many lives in the last few years that is the sad part about it.
There's people out there that don't give a shit, and there's people out there that do care. And if you want help, the help is there. There is now the drug team, and they're trying to start up their own few things, and unfortunately there's 14 and 15-year-olds now that are going the wrong road. But there's also us there now that's coming through the other end of it, that can catch on to these youngsters, and if they listen, before they do go through that road. Alright, they get into trouble, they get into trouble, but keep waiting drugs, like, you know what I mean? That's my main thing to them, would be, is to keep out with the drug scene, because you'll either get killed for something that you know, or you'll get killed from the heroin itself. And I think an awful lot of people that of my age group now are so pissed off at the way their lives that they're going, that they now know there's chances out there. I know there's chances out there for me now to change. And I'm grabbing them with both hands, and I'm not going to let go.
But I really say it to mothers or fathers that think their children is on drugs, or even if they find out they're on drugs, get help for themselves. And if they can get that help for themselves, they'll cope. You'll have your ups and downs, you'll always have your ups and downs, but at least you have that little help behind you. But an addict, a drug addict, no one can do anything for them. They can't. You're just banging your head against the wall. They have to help themselves. And when they're ready, they'll do it.